Welcome to the channel. In this video I'll be going over a review of the Fokoos Odin-5 F3 FDM printer. It's a Cartesian style printer commonly known as a bed slinger. It has a build volume of 235 by 235 by 250, which is pretty standard. It's what you'd find on an Ender 3. Max hot end temp is 260 and max bed temp is 120°C. Probably best to stick to PLA PETG with this machine. What makes this printer stand out, aside from its price because it's actually rather cheap, is the fact it comes with a direct drive, and most importantly it has a volcano hot end. Now a volcano hot end is unheard of in budget printers, and what makes this exciting is that they can heat up filament better and faster than a normal standard hot end like those found in 90% of the budget printers out there. This makes the Odin-5 F3 an ideal candidate for clipper, or at least printing a lot faster. Fokoos actually rates the max print speed at 300 millimeters per second. Now, I'm not going to go into trying to make this a speed machine on this review. All I'm really going to do is go over the stock hardware as it comes. And with that, let's take a look at the hardware. The Odin comes pre-assembled, but you have to set the gantry upright and then insert these two screws on each side. It makes it really easy to get things set up and ready to go. Neat idea. The printer comes with a dual Z setup, but it isn't synced. Now I haven't had any problems with it getting out of sync, but if it were, the only way to fix it is to either manually rotate one side or to raise both sides up until they hit these bearing supports. Continuing with the Z axis, the end stop for the Z is an inductive style probe, and when you lower your gantry it detects the metal of it. Now these aren't exactly super accurate and they're not recommended for a Z axis, but so far it does seem to work and I haven't had any problems with it. Moving to the Y axis, the design here is really good. It's kind of like a CR10. It's really wide. It's not narrow like most printers. Makes a really stable base. There's also a mechanical end switch here. It's the only mechanical end switch on the machine. Overall though, it seems to be a good design as it's very sturdy and the bed doesn't move around. Moving to the X-axis, you also have an inductive sensor here for your end stop. It's not bad here, and it does work. I haven't had any issues with it. You just don't want this on the Z. You want Z to be precise. Continuing with the X-axis, I'm not sure what they have going on here, but the V wheel is captured in this weird contraption. It doesn't appear that you can adjust it. If someone who's seeing this knows the trick to this, or if I'm just missing it, please say so in the comments. But it doesn't appear that you can adjust it, which is not exactly great. The wheels themselves are kind of loose and it would be nice if I could adjust them. I haven't seen any major issues, but so far none of the ones on the X-axis can be adjusted. The ones on the Y can adjust just like normal with eccentric nuts, but not these. The extruder on this is interesting. It doesn't have a lever to aid in loading filament, so you basically need to press the filament down and then press the load button on the interface. I'm not sure why they designed it that way, but it might have something to do with the filament sensor that's also right there. They went for a really clean look on this printer, as all of the wiring, well most of the wiring, is done via these ribbon cables. The only problem with that is that it's super proprietary, so if you have a problem you're going to have to go back to them to get new ones. Looks good though. Continuing looking at the wiring, you can see that the bed wiring is in a loom, and they did a great job of wire management altogether. The machine itself looks great. It has a great, nice, sleek look to it. The interface on the printer is a 3.5-inch touchscreen. It works fairly well. I haven't had any problems with it. It's the standard MKS based Marlin. It's using the MKS GUI. It's okay. It's relatively full featured. You have Wi-Fi listed, but you don't have a Wi-Fi module on the main board. I mean, anything you really want to do, you can do through it. My biggest complaint is that you can't tell the temperature. I have to use that preheat in order to see what the actual temperature of the hot end is. But it has a nice leveling functionality. So I mean, it's all here. No real complaints about the user interface. Looking underneath, you can see everything is maker base. This is our touch screen. Here's our main board. You can see that green header where your wireless would go if we had one. It's a Robin Nano V1.2. Nothing wrong, standard. You find this in a lot of printers. You see they have ferrules on the power cords, which is nice. One problem is that these drivers are soldered to the main board, so you would need to replace the entire board if one of those drivers go out. Everything looks good. Power supply looks good. Let's move on to some prints. This is the hollow cat from the SD card. It's pre-sliced. I think it turned out amazing, especially for pre-sliced. I've done absolutely nothing to the printer. I leveled it, tightened the wheels. That's just some amazing detail. You can see some layer lines, but that's probably more the filament than anything else. All in all, though, this is an excellent print. Good job. This is the pre-sliced vase. It's a heart that's twisted. It again also looks very good. There's a little blob right there, but other than that, this thing looks fantastic. It's really on there. Looks really good. Other than that one little blob. This is using Ender Gray PLA. Looks really good. Another great print. Now this just goes to show you never know what you're going to get on these SD cards. This is a Shia LaBeouf bust, I guess. I mean, it turned out pretty good. Yeah, it actually looks really good. Why it's here, I have no idea, but okay. I mean, it looks good though. This is using Lot Max orange PLA. Yeah, interesting. Now this is the pre-sliced benchy that was on the SD card. It's printed in Ender Black PLA. It looks okay in comparison to the other prints that I've done so far on this thing. This is the worst one. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. And you know, everybody looks at the benchy, so if you're going to include one, it really should be fantastic. But you can't see the benchy writing on the back. There's some random blobs here and there. That's probably just the alignment for the seam. The hole doesn't really look that bad. Got some stringing going on. I mean, it's not great. I mean, again, you would hope that if you're going to do a benchy, you're going to include a benchy, you would definitely want it to turn out best of all of your prints, because everybody's going to look at that one. But it's still not bad. So I wanted to slice something kind of small and difficult, which is my calibration cube here is exactly that. They don't have a profile in the newest Cura, so I'm just going to use the Ender 3 one. It's the same size, so it should work just as well. I'll set it to standard 2.0, and we will slice it up and see how it turns out. Slice the file. Quick preview. And then we will save it to disk and see how it prints out. So here's my sliced calibration cube. I like doing something like this in these reviews because it shows you how well the bed adhesion is and everything. This thing turned out fantastic, and I mean fantastic. And it is just glued to this bed. This bed is just great. I'm not a big fan of glass, but this one just really holds on to it. And I mean, as you can see, there's not much for it to hold on to. But it looks fantastic. I mean, really looks fantastic. Again, this is the Ender Gray PLA. You couldn't really ask for anything better than this. And again, I used the Ender 3 V2 profile in Cura. Just standard, didn't edit anything. Fantastic. So, in conclusion here, my thoughts on this printer, I like it. I really do. I really like the Volcano hotend. I like the direct drive. As you can see, the print quality is phenomenal. in my opinion, especially considering there's zero tuning to it. I tightened the V-wheels on the bed, I leveled it, and then I printed. So yeah, that's great. And even with my calibration cube, that turned out fantastic. Using the default Ender 3 V2 profile in Cura, zero issues, zero tuning, and it still turned out fantastic. A couple of things that I would mention that I don't really like about this printer is it doesn't have any auto bed leveling. It's not a large printer, so I can see past that. The other thing I really don't like is the use of these ribbon cables, since they are proprietary. They give you two in the box, so that's nice, but if the company for whatever reason goes under, trying to locate spares for this is going to be difficult. So, I mean, aesthetically though, it's a fantastic looking printer. I think they did a great job. It's all metal, another fantastic bit. The bed adhesion on this glass bed is fantastic. I don't know what kind of coating they have on it, but it is fantastic. I mean, I had to pry things off of the bed, which leads to the other problem. I did have to level it quite often. Before every print, I had to level it. But other than that, I really can't see anything wrong with it. Anyway, that's the end of the review. Happy printing.